The Fallout TV show isn't made for you. Yeah, it's made for no one, probably.
Watching this video, you are likely already a Fallout fan. You've seen the trailer for the new show coming out on Amazon in April 2024.
The fact that I know it's made by Amazon, and knowing that they made She-Hulk Attorney at Law, absolute banger, by the way, obviously, and Rings of Power, an absolute banger of the bangers, by the way, obviously. Obviously, I'm very worried about what they're gonna do with the Fallout TV show. Absolutely, without question, worried.
Your own thoughts about it, and then popped over onto another video to hear what you should think about the show. To begin, you shouldn't really be made to think anything from me or any other content creator.
Yeah, exactly. Don't ask questions. Consume product and then consume more product. Don't ask questions. Don't think even about it. That's great advice.
All we've had to go off so far is a trailer, some still frame shots, and descriptions of the characters and events found online.
Which is really bad, by the way. And I have created a theory what's going to happen here. And I think, looking at the history of Amazon, I'm going to probably be able to explain the theory a bit later when we get into the characters. But I think I know what's going to happen in this TV series. With Amazon's history and everything, I think I know.
Every single point I mentioned in this video might be fundamentally incorrect, or changed upon the show's release. However, we do know the location, the protagonist, and the setting. The story will be set in post-war Los Angeles in the year of 2296, approximately 219 years after the Great War.
At some point, we're going to find out that people there didn't even know that there's a war. That they were just all suddenly more happy because homelessness went down slightly. There you go.
Ella Purnell will star as Lucy, a vault dweller thrust out into the world above to solve issues within their vault. Now, where does that sound familiar?
Okay, so first of all, there's two big things here. One, we have a female main lead. Now, a female main lead, in my honest opinion, is not the end of days. You know, it's a coin flip currently. It's a 50-50 if a show is going to be good or absolute trash anyway. So, a female lead doesn't necessarily instantaneously mean it's bad. But knowing Amazon's history with everything they have done, yeah, I understand people who are worried about this part because it seems like a red flag. That she's just gonna be that powerful, independent woman that can do no wrong and is absolutely fantastic and flawless in every ways. Literally, Kathleen Kennedy insert number 3 billion, and even though Kathleen Kennedy has nothing to do with this. Yeah, I understand that that a lot of people are kind of wary about the female lead. I personally think it's not necessarily a bad thing. Female leads have worked out powerfully, amazingly in the past. But considering it's Amazon, I understand you. I understand you if you have doubts.
Above to solve issues within their vault. Now, where does that sound familiar?
Oh, and also, this is the first thing. Even though the premises is that she goes out to solve issues about the vault or whatever, I really don't think Amazon is going to be able to keep the story straight and it's going to be about solving the issues of the vault. Obviously not. It's going to turn into something else.
Una travels throughout the wasteland to interact with other introduced characters, such as Walter Goggins as the Ghoul, or Aaron Moten as a Brotherhood of Steel Squire. But if the information I've seen so far for it is correct, then it's probably safe to say that the TV show is not made for us. This isn't to be a staunch pessimist.
The TV show is not made for anyone. There's no lore to follow. Fallout lore makes no sense. It has been retconned a million times. I have said this already a million times. What kind of Fallout lore are we talking about? Fallout 1 or 2 where civilization was, slowly clinging back and, even new buildings were made? Or the current Fallout lore where people can't even make a new mud shack? And the Brotherhood of Steel is stupid, okay? Oh, by the way, the Brotherhood of Steel are the good guys here, which is stupid. So, this is overall what I think is gonna happen, knowing everything that we know. The female protagonist is gonna meet up with the Ghoul and the Brotherhood. The Ghoul is gonna be obviously an NCR Ranger, ex-NCR Ranger, who got suddenly disillusioned by the cause of the NCR because, yep, you guessed it, the NCR are evil neo-Nazi type of Hitler thing. Yeah, you're starting to see this, huh? And the Brotherhood of Steel are gonna be diverse, probably led by a woman, obviously, who is also called Maxwell for some reason. Group of good people, you know, completely accurate to the lore as the not fanatic people who are gonna mow down enclaves of basic normal humans just because they said, no, we're not gonna give you the light bulb. Because that's what the Brotherhood of Steel is. The Brotherhood of Steel is supposed to be pretty much almost a genocidal group of maniacs who are gonna kill millions just to get a light bulb if they think it's dangerous technology. That's what they're supposed to be. But here they're gonna probably be the inclusive good guys who, you know, are really good. It's gonna come. This is not gonna be just not lore accurate. This is gonna be atrocious.
Might have fun moments, great visuals, and draw us in more than we might have thought. But if you're watching this video already being a Fallout fan, we are not the target audience for it. Now, to fully understand this, first...
I also love the fact that no adaptation of anything nowadays is made for the original fans. And you would think after so many disasters and so little even minor victories, they would have learned from it. But they don't. They don't.
We must enter the mind of an Amazon executive. Set the scene. You're on the 31st floor of an LA skyscraper. The bright sun enters the wall-length window, but the presence of God does not. You've been given the IP of the Fallout series to make a television adaptation, and you're pondering.
And you completely ignore all the established lore because you know better. I love it. It's exactly what they did with The Witcher after Henry Cavill left. It's gonna be a repeat of that. But Fallout's probably not gonna have anyone who's a true lover of the source material. Remember The Witcher with Henry Cavill? Yeah, that thing was a disaster. The only reason it wasn't a super giga disaster was because Henry Cavill fought for the, you know, established source material to actually be used and honored. I don't think we're gonna have any of that. Well, on one hand, it's a good thing because who knows what even is established lore at this point in the Fallout universe. Is everyone just stupid? Is the Brotherhood good? Is the Brotherhood evil? Will the Enclave ever be nothing but a joke? Also, hashtag the Enclave did nothing wrong. They are the good guys. Everyone else is the bad guys.
On how to ensure the show has the biggest reach. You search up Fallout on the internet, on YouTube, and see a plethora of channels dedicated to this series and think to yourself,
oh, look at that. We watched this. This was pretty good.
God, there's an awful lot of dweebs out there who love this show. They'll definitely watch it.
True.
But then a bright idea goes off in your head. You don't need to market it to them. Heck, you don't even need to cater to them. They'll watch it no matter what. Who you should market and design it for are people who don't know what Fallout is. Market it for the couple looking for a new show to watch on Tuesday night since their therapist told them to do more together. The college students in their share house.
Well, their therapist probably did not tell them that. The therapist probably told him to, you know, divorce or something.
Who cycle through every new show on Amazon, Netflix, Disney, whatever streaming service they have. Or the family wanting to switch on something to placate their kids and give them an hour of peace and quiet. Don't market it towards the dweebs. Market it towards the normies. I'm being a little bit rude about this, but I do understand why they would do so.
Nah, you're not being rude at all about this.
Friends of mine or family members who know that I do these YouTube vids have said, oh cool, Amazon's making a Fallout show, I'll have to watch it so I understand your videos more. We, as the Ghoul fanbase, are going to watch it.
Oh yeah, this guy has a third eye.
Amazon knows that and we know that. They don't need to entice us to watch it, and even if it doesn't live up to our expectations, most of us will...
Dude, the fucking sentry turret just missing every shot. That's so hilarious, though.
Still watch it. And as such, the formula that I've seen for the show so far does feel somewhat formulaic for me, but it's the best way to introduce the series to new members of the franchise. Fallout 3 was my first introduction to the games, and was the first Bethesda...
Dude, I actually agree that they will do something like this. But you know, I always have had super large questions about it, like, what's the logic behind it? What's the point of taking something that is established, putting in writers that think it's garbage and they want to remake better? Why? Just make something new! Why can't you just make something new? Everyone knows how this is gonna go. The Fallout fans are gonna critique this pretty harshly because there's not gonna be a single Fallout fan that this appeals to because, what kind of lore they're gonna use. You can't even appeal to Fallout fans with Fallout lore because it makes no sense. No, it's true. Fallout lore is so bad that it makes no sense even amongst Fallout fans. Do you like the Brotherhood? Yeah, I like them because they do X. And the other guy is gonna start yelling at you, what do you mean? The Brotherhood doesn't do that. And then they're all gonna... Then each person has a valid, lore-accurate source that proves their point about the Brotherhood, and it contradicts the other person because... Well, the lore just contradicts itself constantly. And everything else about this also. It's gonna be great.
As the Fallout product. In order to soft launch us into the series, they started somewhere familiar. In a vault, as a vault dweller, forced ahead into the wasteland.
What's the point of starting in a vault even if you're gonna market this to normies? Again, I think he's absolutely right about the fact that it's gonna be marketed towards normies. But it's, like, just make something new. Why? Why must you destroy everything already loved?
And this works too.
Well, I mean, to be fair, what's the difference? Does Bethesda destroy Fallout, or, do these guys at Amazon destroy Fallout, honestly?
Twofold for the TV show. One, for a prior fan of the series, we can understand the setup and are familiar with the direction. But two, for a new viewer, it's the best vehicle to introduce them to the story. Much like an innocent vault dweller, they too are in a sheltered, luxury world and know nothing of the horrors of the wasteland. Having said Vault Dweller naively traverse the world above is the perfect vehicle for new viewers to do the same. Much like Lucy, they'll be going into the unknown. Again, it's understandable for a fan of the show already, but not a setup that makes me immediately excited. And this might be an unfair comparison, but it can be compared maybe to the Rings of Power. Lord of the Rings fans absolutely hated the Rings of Power, and honestly that's fair enough. I love Lord of the Rings, but I didn't...
There's a storm brewing inside me. Bruh, the fact that most people who watch Rings of Power think now that Galadriel is the reason that Sauron turned to the evil side is hilarious. Because she legitimately did nothing but push him towards evil. It's great.
I didn't even finish that show because it disappointed me so much. But many casual viewers, which outnumbered genuine die-hard...
The Hardfoots are literal cannibals, by the way.
...fans of the series did enjoy it, and watched it in huge numbers, and it now has a second season coming. And so is the hope for Amazon for Fallout. The real fans of the series are not the ones they want to get their hooks into, it's the just normal casual fans. And I would say this isn't necessarily a bad thing. I am 28 years old, and first got into Fallout when my brother bought Fallout 3 for me back in 2008. I fell in love with the series, and I played it ever since.
Makes
the
sense.
OGs out there started playing Fallout 1 and 2 in the 90s. Fallout 4 came out in 2015, and while it had its heights, it definitely had its lows, and Fallout 76 came out in 2018, which honestly represented all that I hate in modern game culture.
Yo, Fallout 76 again. By the way, people are saying Fallout 76 is playable. No, it's not. It's garbage. It's literally a dumpster fire. It is so badly made. Still. Yeah, they fixed a lot of bugs, but who cares? It's still so bad as a Fallout experience.
I might be biased, but in my mind, the last proper Fallout game came out in 2015, nearly a decade ago. Which means there's a whole new generation of gamers out there who might never pick up the Fallout series, because there are arguably more recent titles for them to enjoy. Having this series honestly might give the Fallout franchise the jumpstart that it needs, exposing it to a whole new bunch of fans who might enjoy the show, purchase the game, and become brand new converts. This in turn could spark more interest in Bethesda to actually make a new Fallout game, one in a more recent time frame, and one that is actually good. However, to abruptly cut short any sense of positivity I was talking about, we need to refer back to the previous point I was making, between the Rings of Power and Fallout.
Oh right, I'm sorry, he didn't have a third eye, he was literally a Cyclops.
The difference in comparing these two is that the producers did state outright that while Tolkien's estate was consulted, the Rings of Power is not considered a prequel or part...
Yeah, and we know how much they lied about it. It got consulted, the consultant said, garbage, and then they said, right off you go, little chap, we consulted you, tish tish ta-da. Yeah, consulted. And absolutely ignored, obviously.
Part of the canon Lord of the Rings universe itself. It's merely an adaptation. However, this is not the case for the Fallout TV show.
An adaptation of what exactly? An adaptation of what exactly?
In an interview, Todd Howard had stated that, "We view what's happening in the show as canon.
Yeah.
We did not want to do an interpretation of an existing story."
Yeah.
A lot of pitches were, this is the movie of Fallout 3.
I almost forgot to mention it, but yeah, the Fallout TV series is going to be canon. So, all of those Fallout games that, 200 years after the bombs fell are still, muddy wastelands of nothing. Yeah, this is now going to make it so, no, trees actually exist. Yeah, it's going to be so bad.
I was like, yeah, we told that story. I don't have a lot of interest seeing those translated. I was interested in someone telling a unique Fallout story. Treat it like a game. It gives the creators of the series their own playground to play in. And that's what's great, when someone else looks at your work and then translates it in some fashion. Basically, from this statement, whatever
In some fashion into shit.
happens in the show is part of the universe. And this is where I have the problem. You can make the show be a dumbed down version. Hell, you basically have to. The average viewer is not going to care about all the intricate details of the Fallout universe. They don't have time to. But you could get around that by just making the show a non-canon part of the series. Make it an adaptation. But this is not the case for the Fallout TV show. The show's creators have stated publicly that in terms of continuity, the Fallout show is functionally Fallout 5. Anything that happens within the realms of this series is canonically as much part of the franchise as any other entry. And that honestly wouldn't worry me too much if it wasn't taking place in a core region experienced in the first two games, Fallout 1 and 2, as well as directly influencing the post-game events of Fallout New Vegas. Executive producer Graham Wagner had stated, "We didn't start from a place of characters from the games. We set things after. We kind of told ourselves, this is Fallout 5, this is just another installation, and we're starting with fresh snow. But if you really wanted to tell a brand new story, set it in New York, set it in Chicago, Miami, New Orleans, go somewhere never tread before. Because having the series set in Los Angeles raises a lot of questions. The main one is, where the hell is the NCR?
True.
The Fallout TV series is set in Los Angeles in the year 2296. Only 14...
Yeah. The NCR, again, everyone is questioning, where is the NCR? You're literally putting this series in the backyard of the NCR. And the Brotherhood of Steel has a far higher influence here than the NCR? Sus.
10 years after Fallout New Vegas. The NCR is an absolute powerhouse of a faction, a democratic post-war society encompassing the whole of the former state of California and more. It had enough power, resources, and population to field armies in regions hundreds of kilometers away, such as New Vegas. It was a society numbering in the literal millions that had begun to provide its people a life akin to those experienced in pre-war times. Los Angeles, or the Boneyard, as it was known as, was one of the largest cities in the NCR. It hosted the followers' Boneyard Medical University, as well as the NCR's gold reserves and money printers. At just an extremely base level, in-game dialogue states that it was a stable location, with rebuilt and renovated buildings.
By the way, the fact it's not just that it's stated to be a thing. The fact that what's in it means that the NCR would never just, abandon it. And the idea that the Brotherhood of Steel, a small fanatic organization, can actually just, establish themselves in the middle of the NCR is just ludicrous. So, this thing will canonize the fact that the NCR doesn't exist, pretty much, honestly. It will just absolutely canonize the fact that the NCR is non-existent anymore.
A thriving population, and food, electricity, and water in abundance. Vault 33, the home of our protagonist Lucy, is located in Santa Monica, literally the heart of the Boneyard. And from what we see, the outside landscape is a desolate, barren wasteland akin to most other regions in the Waste. The issue is that this is in a location that 14 years ago was declared as being so safe and rebuilt that NCR citizens would travel to frontier regions like the Mojave Wasteland since there was nothing left to scavenge. And Vault 33 evidently know of the NCR. Images taken from the set show that an NCR flag is within what appears to be a Vault school room.
This got changed because look at this absolute cringe of a cringe. Also, fun fact. You see this guy's crotch? Yeah, there's someone who's getting paid to digitally remove it. Yeah, imagine that.
Rim. So the NCR evidently has experienced some form of decline, whether it's just the state of boneyard that has returned to the waste, or
Also, I think this was 2 days ago. I saw the meme. Someone posted a California flag and the bed had one head, and there were people asking questions. Wait, why does it have only one head?
or perhaps the entire nation that has fallen to dust. The fact that the Brotherhood of Steel are able to project their power across to California leads credence to this.
Yeah,
The
it's
NCR fought
stupid.
the Brotherhood to a standstill, all the way to the point that these power-clad wearing super soldiers had to hide in bunkers away from the NCR.
Well, if you look at the Fallout New Vegas lore, that's actually not true. The NCR completely demolished the Brotherhood of Steel. The Brotherhood of Steel lost the battle at Helios. The Brotherhood of Steel was irrelevant. Only after helping the Brotherhood of Steel and making them not afraid, they get a small amount of space at the end by creating patrols, and that's it.
If the Brotherhood are able to not only fly unchallenged in vertibirds, but build an airship named the Caswinen that is on par with the East Coast Brotherhood's Pridwin, then
By the way, I still hate how stupid the idea of an airship is. Because, well, do you know why they stopped making Zeppelins? Have you heard of the Hindenburg? Well, turns out Zeppelins, are really, really, really flammable. This one's probably not as flammable, but guess what? You shoot a hole in it with a rocket, bad things happen. This is like the most moronic thing ever. It probably consumes more gas than anything. It's just, dude, if the Brotherhood can make these useless things willy-nilly, that means that they are redundantly powerful. They pretty much own the universe at this point.
the NCR must barely be a factor now. I'm open to being surprised, but it honestly will need to be an amazing explanation on how a nation of 1 million people faded into nothingness. When I was originally looking into this, I thought that maybe it's a result of one of the New Vegas endings being canonized, perhaps Mr. House, or in
It can't be. If Mr. House's ending was canonized, well, if Mr. House's ending was canonized, we would see it for sure. But Yes Man's ending, we would probably not see that. We would definitely know if it's the, Caesar's Legion's ending. We would definitely know if it's, it's just, whatever is going to happen is going to be bad. That's it. The fact that the Brotherhood of Steel somehow has a foothold, somehow is relevant, just means that the writers looked at it and said, oh, this is the coolest faction. Most people are going to like it. And most people like the Brotherhood to a certain degree, but that's because the Brotherhood has never felt like a generic thing at the bare minimum. The Brotherhood was always something, different and unique. But this Brotherhood is probably going to be as generic as it comes.
independent Vegas reign supreme, it led to the NCR's swift decline in the face of the lives, money, and energy spent in the campaign for nothing. Perhaps Caesar's Legion was successful and ground the NCR into dust. Or maybe even the NCR won.
If Caesar's Legion would have done it, Caesar's Legion would not just abandon the land that they took. It's not happening.
But the overexertion in forming a sixth state led to the destruction of the nation. Maybe, but also very unlikely. I'm personally devastated if the NCR has gone the way of the dodo. I know that might seem like a surprise, but I think it's important to show a post-war society that is able to survive in the waste with a focus on returning to civilization. For one,
The first time I played New Vegas, I got Yes Man to throw him off a dam. I have never managed to get the same result through the ending speech again.
creates a good
Also, I have no idea how actually a win with the NCR looks. I don't know what happens. I have literally never chosen the NCR.
juxtaposition to the brutal and raider tribal societies out in the waste. But it also does make sense. If 200 years have passed, humanity would either die out or begin to adapt and survive in the post-war world. That being said, if they can provide a valid reasoning for it, I'll be on board with it. But it needs to be a pretty damn good reason. It can't be some kind of somehow Palpatine returned type of explanation.
What, are you not happy with the fact that Palpatine returned? Bruh, that was perfect storytelling. I mean, everyone was happy with the fact that Palpatine just returned. So happy, in fact, I haven't even seen that movie. It's already like 4 years probably on my list. At some point, I'm gonna watch it. I swear, at some point, I'm gonna watch Palpatine return and Rey be the bestest ever.
If you're making this show be canon to the in-game universe, then it needs to make sense. Otherwise, you can be damn sure none of us will probably purchase another Fallout game again. This last point that I'll make for the TV show, likely not being designed for fans of the Fallout series, is potentially nitpicky, but it has to do with one of the identified lead characters, the Ghoul, played by Walton Goggins. In show, the Ghoul is a mysterious gun-toting rebel with a sense of honor, who will seemingly go bang bang with his gun. A man who has survived for centuries.
Yeah, again, my bet is on that he is ex-NCR, and he got finally delusioned about how that they're the good guys and they're secretly the evil right-wingers.
He's on his skill and wit in his coolified form.
And they actually have posters of Trump in their offices. It is what it is.
I was pumped as hell that a Ghoul was going to be a main character, and I still am. But the issue is he's been Hollywooded up, even when he's meant to be playing a necrotic post-human. He looks too damn good. He's got pearly whites, his skin...
I talked about this. I like the fact because none of us want to actually look at a disgusting character. It is what it is, okay? In Game of Thrones, if they actually made Tyrion, like, without a nose and, you know, a giant scar across his face, no one would want to watch the show. So, him being an actual disgusting ghoul would have been really bad. I think they did a good job because no one would want to look at a disgusting main character. It is what it is. This is for the best, even if you don't agree.
Is even in coloration, and his eyes have regular pupils. Nolan did outright explain this, however, stating that there's a practical reason to make him less ghoulish. You have to be extremely careful with it when you're putting a full appliance on someone's face. Their face is their instrument, and I need to be able to see Walton and his performance. He needs to look like a ghoul from the game, and he needs to be kind of hot. Now, there are many changes between...
Yeah, imagine you would see this Well, to be fair, I did take Billy out of the fridge, and then I kept him around as a pet. At one point, I went to snipe his parents because he annoyed me. Yeah, you can't actually get rid of his parents, but, you know, you shoot them, Billy doesn't care, he just runs away, and then he's come back to you, like a good dog.
Ghouls in their multitude of Fallout games, of their physiology, their look, and even the process of ghoulification itself. But the one consensus is they have been goddamn ugly. So ugly that even after 200 years of existence, many settlements won't even have them in their settlements. They live as second-class citizens purely on how they look. It's only in the rare shining bastions of civilization like the NCR where legislation is signed to protect them. For most others, they're disgusted with them, and groups like the Brotherhood of Steel shoot them on sight. Anyway, I digress.
Smart.
But keeping with the lore, ghouls should look like the Walking Dead rather than Red Skull. They should look so goddamn hideous that even if the nicest ghoul on the planet talked to you, you couldn't tolerate their presence for more than a day.
Now keep in mind, there's a lot of ghoul prostitutes.
And that's half the issue. That works for us as the gamers. We can either emphasize with their challenges or hate them, depending on what faction we choose. A newcomer to the Fallout series is going to be too much like a regular Wastelander if they went with the standard ghoul. They'd be repulsed. They couldn't root for the character.
Well, I think that's it. But yeah, it's true again. I think it's a dub for the ghouls because an actual ugly ghoul would be completely unpalatable for most people. You can't adapt a book to a game without making changes. You can't adapt a game to a movie without making any changes. You can't adapt a movie to a book without making changes. Now, do you change the core lore? No, never. There are things that you cannot change, that you should not touch. But there are some creative liberties that you must take. And one of these, one of the things from games and books to, not from games to books, but from books and games to TV shows, is how some certain things look. Again, yeah, some of you may be pissed about the ghoul not looking like a ghoul, but I think that is a good thing at the end of the day, because you would not want to look at something so disgusting. Game of Thrones, actually, yeah. At the start, They made Tyrion after the sword slash look a lot more disgusting, and then they changed it because people did not want to look at him being so ugly. It is a change that is worthwhile and necessary. Anyway, that was ya boy. Anyway, this was Quizzer Sensei. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already, and have a nice day. Bye bye.